Welcome to the Peak of Fiction podcast, the podcast where we cover the very best movies, TV, comics, anime, and more. We are the podcast that is going to pierce the top 5 charts. And in order to do this, I have the best podcast crew on the planet, starting with the stylish Super O.
Yo, what's good, everyone? My drill is still Joe. Now pierce the heavens.
The indomitable Gray the Samurai.
That's it, maybe. We shooting shots left, shooting shots right, and nailing every time with our takes.
The mysterious cinema lover, Beto.
We drill into the whole of AMC and steal all the 4K projectors.
Okay.
And their glorious leader, Bates the Dust, myself. And together, we are Team Peak of Fiction. Just who the hell do you think we are? Welcome, everybody. We are we're going to be covering Gurren Lagann, if you got that, if you missed that from the bombastic intro. A really amazing anime that came out in 2007, between 2007 and 2008, produced by Gainax Studios, which many of those people would later on go to become Trigger in the future. It's really incredible anime, and there's so much in it that we decided to break up this episode. This is part 1, right, of a 2-part discussion, and we'll be covering the first part of Gurren Lagann. So episodes 1 through 15, which kind of tells its own story, and then next week we will bring you the conclusion to that story as we cover episodes 16 to 27. Before we get into like the real breakdown, we can talk about our initial impressions of one Gurren Lagann. So I'll start with you, Supa. What is your initial impression?
My initial impression. So this is my second time of rewatching the series, or in the midst of rewatching the series. The first time I rewatched it was, let's see, it's 2025 right now, probably like 12, 13 years ago. It's definitely one of the more earlier animes I watched before getting really into animes, and I really enjoyed it back then. Rewatching it now, I really enjoy it again now. I think it's really, what really sticks out to me about the show is the character dynamics, and especially how Simon goes from the scared boy to a more capable character and down the line. And it's because of the bonds he creates, and also, I just love the power system of the world as well, or at least power system when it comes to Gurren Lagann, where it's just like, if you're hype enough and you believe it, go for it, and that's some words to live by. So yeah, I really mess with the series.
Cool. All right. First time viewers, got our first time viewers in here. Gray the Samurai, how'd you enjoy Gurren Lagann?
Thank you for asking, Bate. This was a very interesting show for a few reasons. I think they did a really good job of establishing the world. I think they did a really good job of establishing character personalities. Every character is very different from the others. They did a fun little like love triangle thing in the storyline that I thought was really interesting, involving the main characters. I thought that was cool. One thing that was intriguing to me though was the plot twist. I guess if you can call it a plot twist. And then where an unexpected event takes place and it dramatically shifts the flow of the story.
Mm-hmm.
I almost put it on par with one of my favorite plot twists in anime, which was the Puella Magic and Madoka plot twist.
Yes.
Where the storyline kind of, I know what's happening, and then all of a sudden I was like, I was just wrong. Like this is just not what I thought the story was going to be. They did something similar in Gurren Lagann, although not quite as extreme. It had a similar effect of the character direction that we were going in has to shift. It just turns a bit. And it's still really well thought out. It's really enjoyable. It added some weight to a story that felt very lighthearted at first, and it I really enjoyed these first 15. I think we did a lot of interesting things with that story. So I'm excited to discuss it.
All right, Beto.
Yeah, well, this is kind of my second time in full. I did watch a couple of episodes with Super O and Bates of Dust, personally, and I was very interested. But I guess now, since we are doing this podcast, I was able to fully engage myself to the rest of the series, and I can say that this was it really ramps up a lot. Um, I thought the first few episodes were a little bit slow to me, but it just started getting like it started pumping and pumping out like this really energetic feel that it was really good. It's a really good anime, and I cannot recommend it enough.
Cool. This has to be my third or fourth watch. I mean, Gurren Lagann's been with me for a long time. I think I watched it probably like 2011, right? During when I was in high school. Very pivotal for me. Very key to many, I would say, early events in my life during that period. Had always a special place in my heart. And really made me a big fan of Gainax and what would eventually become Studio Trigger, which many people know, I guess, nowadays for Cyberpunk. To Edge Runners. Yeah, Cyberpunk Edge Runners, and what they have going on there. But back in the day, Studio Gainax, then Trigger was all about, Gurren Lagann, then Kill la Kill, and then fun shows like Space Patrol Luluco or Ninja Slayer, things like that. And this really is a really amazing anime. And I was so happy to rewatch it and uncover so many new details and really see that, yeah, it holds up. It's just as good as I remember. In fact, it's probably better in some respects. So I had a really great time with Gurren Lagann, and we'll dive deep into it a little bit more. And I also want to bring up before we get into this. Sorry, a little brain thing. I'll cut it out. Anyways, before we get into our summary, where we summarize the show and we dive into our review, I would like you, yes, you, the viewer, listener, whoever you may be, if you have not already subscribed or followed the channel, maybe our X or our Instagram or any one of our many socials or TikToks, how about you have a follow? It can be a good time. This episode's going to be good. Next one's going to be good. We're going to have a good time. I don't think you have anything to lose. What's the worst that can happen is a video pops up on your feed and you scroll past it. All right. But it would mean a lot to me. Okay. Every time I get a new subscriber, I do like a little dance and I click my heels.
He does.
So
I can confirm that. We're at a restaurant, bro. They kicked us out.
it would mean a lot. It would mean a lot. All right.
And
that
our
being
YouTube.
said,
don't forget about our YouTube.
Not on YouTube. And so that being said, we can get into our summary. Gurren Lagann starts with a very bold opening. It's space. There's a giant battle happening, right? With people who do not know. You've not met these people yet. And a figure walks on the bridge, looks around, sees this crazy thing happening all around them, and he says, I guess all the lights in the sky are our enemies. Right? You do not know what this means. You have no context. And then it immediately drops you back, pulls you out from that prologue, right? And drops you back into a situation with two characters in an underground village. It's some kind of world that, it's like Earth, but we don't know the circumstances or whatnot. But basically, humans live in these underground villages, and they're told that there's nothing outside, right? There's no sky. Everything you need is in this village. The village is not great. The conditions aren't great. people, there's earthquakes where people, the tunnels collapse, people die. And you have your two main characters, Kamina and Simone. Kamina is this big, bold, brash, kind of leader, very fiery, who is like always like leading people and like, saying, oh, I'm just going to keep pushing forward. And he says, right, I'm going to pierce, right, the heavens. I'm going to break through that ceiling and I'm going to see the surface because that's where my dad went, right? And I'm going to follow him and I'm going to see what's up there. And he's accompanied by Simone, who is Simone the Digger, right? The other people don't really like him. They think he's weird, but he's really good at digging tunnels. So they try to break out. They try a few different times. There's many different challenges. But at some point, Simone finds this weird face thing in the tunnels. And that face thing turns out to be a robot, or what they call a gunman, right? And it's this mecha guy that they can pilot and fight and do all this stuff. Just when they try to figure out what they're going to do, all of a sudden, a person, the sky for them, right? The top of their village opens up. Other robot falls through, right? And a different mecha falls through. A girl falls through with a rifle. And suddenly they're kind of swept into this big, adventure where they take their little mecha guy and they get out of the village. And now the three of them, so you have Simone, Kamina, and now Yoko, the girl, are traveling the lands, right? Trying to fight gunmen, right? Figure out what's going on and help, humanity. Because everyone else is stuck in these villages because the beastmen or gunmen hunt them at night. So, from there, the three of them meet new people. They go on different adventures. They expand their crew. You got characters like Rosu. They pick up from a different village, and then two kids. You got Ron. You got her village, right? They get Kalman has a big rivalry with another beastman called Viral. They get another mecha that they combine with Simone's initial mecha, and there's element where when chips are down, Kamina gives a really big speech, and the mech is able to power up and power through any circumstances. So they build up this crew, they build up these forces, things are going great. They're defeating different people. There start to be these enemy beastmen that are like these generals, and they're just keep moving forward, right? And they eventually encounter this gigantic ship called the guy guns in, and communists like, all right, we have our crew, we are going to attack this ship, right? We're gonna pilot it, and we're going to claim it for humanity. And it's all set up, right, for Kamina to be this big leader. Simone is like the little brother following his steps, right? And just then, episode 7, right? I think episode 7 or 8, suddenly Kamina eats it in the fight, right? He's just doing too much, and he gets like pierced through, and he's able to carry them through that fight, but then he's gone. That's it, right? And he was, for a lot of the viewers, right, both the characters in the show and the viewers, was kind of like the main guy, the everyone aspired to be, everyone followed, and then from there they're kind of left without direction, right? Simone falls into a depression. He can't pilot his mech anymore. Everything's going kind of wrong, and everyone's trying to compensate for the fact that Kamina is not there anymore. And it's not until Simone encounters another person randomly he finds called Nia, right? This young girl that's about his age. And they are able to connect. And because he saves Nia from her circumstance, Nia believes in Simone. Even when all the other people in the crew, everyone on his team does not believe in him and they think he's washed and that he'll never be able to pilot anything again, Nia believes in Simone. And this belief and this realization, the conversations they have, allows Simone to understand what Kamina's final words were to him. As Kamina always told him when he was ever unsure of himself, that if he couldn't believe in himself, right? He could believe in Kamina, and Kamina would believe in him, right? But when Kamina is going down, he says, Simone, you got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in Simone, right? That's the only way you're going to go forward. And Simone finally realizes, I am going to believe in myself. I'm not Kamina, right? And that's okay. He's gone, but I'm my own guy. I can do my own thing, and I will now be this leader. So Sumo unlocks him. He's able to defeat different people, and then from there on, you get more and more adventures, and they continue to defeat different gunmen, right, as they pursue forward, and they're eventually trying to go after the Spiral King, right, the person who set up this entire world, who has the Beastmen hunt down people, that has everything set up, so people are killed right on the surface, and eventually Simon, with the help of his friends, makes it to there, right, defeats all the generals, gets to the Spiral King's capital, which turns out to be just a giant mecha, and is able to defeat the Spiral King. But as the Spiral King is going down, right, the Spiral King has the same kind of mecha that the heroes have. He has another like kind of Gurren Lagann setup, and he also has drills and kind of like a spiral power, the same power set as the heroes. And he says, when there's 1 million apes on the surface, right, the moon will be your demise, right, and then you'll find out, why what I was doing, all the oppression I was doing, made sense. And then he pieces out and dies. And Simon was like, okay, I don't know what that means, but hey, we did it. We beat it. Everyone cheers. And that is where, things stop at episode 15, right? And then from there is like a, kind of like a time skip. And then the second adventure begins, from there. But that is, I would say, the swift summary of Gurren Lagann.
Ooh, that pretty good summary.
I try.
And it's called the Beastmen War. I guess that's what the arc is called.
Yeah, I think that would be a good description. Good description of it. But yeah, so we can we can do like our bigger review of Gurren Lagann, and some of this will overlap with our review next week. But we can talk about, whenever we review something, we review it in 5 different categories, right? We have visuals, characters, writing and dialogue, X Factor, and our hype moments and aura. So to start off, let's talk about the visuals, specifically Gurren Lagann episode 1 to 15. What are we thinking?
Yeah, I could start us off. Honestly, character designs were kind of bad. The movement just wasn't there for me. The fights were I give it like a 2.5 at best. Oh no, but to be serious, no, I think the animation is pretty good in this series. And you could honestly, I forgot that they were called Gainax before.
Gainax,
yeah, Gainax. So I was just thinking they definitely, you could definitely see the trigger influence throughout this series, because especially with how noticeably how the animated the movements are, like everyone kind of moves so dynamically and corresponds with each other, even outside of like fights. It's very and also it's very flashy as well. We'll get more into it on the second part, but like even in the first part, like there's so many like cool poses and so many, like I really like just how it's something like explodes in the background, and now and it's just like a cool, it could be like a cool poster after something just blows up.
One element I don't want to neglect in visuals is some of the extra stuff that we may not think of when we're like grading like a TV show. Is this like the first like anime we've covered? Like animated TV show? I think it is, right?
TV show? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I'm technically
you're
saying
muted,
Sand
Gray.
Saga.
Right,
Gray,
you're muted.
We've done movies, we've done manga, but
Yeah.
I don't think we've done a TV show.
Yes. So actually, one thing I want to bring up now, since we're doing a TV show, so first TV show we did, opening and endings. You know, the OPED. They're both great. I love was it Sororo Days?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah, it's a good theme song. It's a good theme song.
It's a great theme song. The opening's very dynamic. The ending, you know, has a lot of good art. But one other thing I would say in visuals, I definitely don't want to neglect, is the eye catchers. During like the ad break eye catchers.
Oh,
and every episode
yeah.
has two like these really great like art pieces basically in every single episode. There's just two of them, one that corresponds to one part of the episode, one that corresponds to another part of the episode, and they're all beautifully done.
Yeah,
like each one of them can be a wallpaper for your desktop easily.
Oh yeah.
And something completely extra, unneeded. You could have just done the same eye catcher every time, but it adds such like a level of like flavor and like sauce to the series that just like no one else, no other show is doing this or has really done this since. So it's a really great part.
I'd argue too, but I'm gonna let Super.
Okay, no, okay. I'll say I'm not saying other shows don't have good eye catchers.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Okay, this full. Okay, actually, I haven't seen Full Metal Alchemist. Okay, or I've seen bits of it.
Okay.
Does Full Metal Alchemist have a different eye catcher every single time?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different per episode, and it is different. Like it's almost iconic eye patches.
Yeah.
Kind of funny.
Okay. All right. You know what?
Yeah.
Maybe
but
you
haven't seen it, so you wouldn't know that. So
yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay. I was glazing. I was glazing too much.
There's bigger fish out there. But yeah, and also I think what's also pretty cool about this is just the character designs in general, like between the Beastmen and the humans, and specifically I want to like note the Spiral King. I really like his design when he's like outside of the suit. Yeah. Especially when he gets like that fiery aura off the top of his head, make it like look like some kind of like fire hair. It's just like
he's not drawn like everybody else. That's the other. He's just not. He has like all these extra lines and like detail on him noticeably to like everyone else.
Yeah.
He's designed to look very menacing. I would agree with that.
Yeah, and can show you like the split between him, like because he's supposed to be this like godlike, you know, character at this point. And it really shows you the split between him and the regular our regular crew.
Yeah.
But yeah, I gave it a 5 in the visual department.
I also want to give it a 5, but I feel like I have to address something. Okay, I have to address the elephant in the room, and I would be remiss. Yes, I would be remiss as a reviewer if we didn't talk about episode 4.
Oh, the animation change on that. Yeah,
that was bad.
Okay,
bro.
so I did do my research. I do have some information, right? Episode 4 was not directed by the same person, right? The same people as the rest of the show. It was they brought on like a guest director named Osamu Kobayashi. I'll say like R.I.P. He passed away a few years ago. He has done good work on some other stuff, and he's definitely worked on some like anime that you've heard of and like done good jobs. He worked on like Naruto and Dororo and like Lupin the Third and like some like other stuff. And he's been a key animator on some like really good episodes. But he has a distinct style that's not compatible with the show.
Yeah.
And it was a strange switch up. And a lot of people, I would say a lot of people who watch Gurren Lagann, right? They get really hyped, right? The first few episodes, and then you're on episode 4 and they're like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Because
what caused this drop off?
Yeah. And the thing about episode 4, what I love about episode 4 is you can't skip it. It is plot critical. Okay.
Yeah.
It introduces
It's a big right.
yeah, and it introduces the king, like Catan, the black siblings. It introduces the combining, and like some other elements. So it's very important, actually. But the animation's bad. The plot is strange, and it just like it feels like a fever dream of an episode.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that got to production and all that stuff, but
and a little add to that as well is like I feel like the voice acting feels a lot stranger on that episode. I don't know. It's to me, I felt like I was like, this voice acting is very different.
it feels like everyone was on something.
Yeah.
Did you all watch the sub or the dub? Speaking of voice
Collectively,
acting,
dub.
You watched the dub. What did you watch, Beto? What did you watch,
Dub.
Super? You watched dub. Okay.
Yeah.
I switched to dub halfway through. I watched sub first half.
I feel in this case dub's the way to go. I think the voice performance on the dub
is better than the sub.
I do. And okay, and one more thing I want to talk about in visuals, right? And this is completely outside of the show. This is my personal quibble that I have, right? Then this is my war against streaming websites. If you want to watch Gurren Lagann, okay, don't watch it on Netflix. Don't watch it on Crunchyroll. Okay? Don't watch it on any of the other streaming sites because it will stream in the original quality of the television show, which is like it's just lesser. It's like a 480p kind of quality. And normally if there was no better version, I'd be like, hey, that's how it looked. Deal with it. But for many years, they've had a 1080p HD Blu-ray version for many years. And yet, on every streaming service, we're stuck with the poor TV quality. So I'm not advocating anything. But if you can find a different way to watch Gurren Lagann in 1080p HD,
don't want to lose our sponsors.
Right off screen, I have the entire Blu-ray set. You can't see it, but right off screen, I have the entire Blu-ray set, and that's how I legally watched Gurren Lagann.
You didn't sail the 7 seas.
But so if you too could find the entire Blu-ray set to Gurren Lagann, I would advise that.
Happily obliged.
Because the stream quality is subpar, to say the least, and you're not gonna get the best version of the show, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I watched it on Netflix, and I didn't really mind that much. But I'm not really a graphics kind of guy when it comes to this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I like
not cinema.
Yeah, I like my. Hey, I got the story. I got the characters. If you're, I think with Gurren Lagann, even with the Netflix viewing experience, right? It's still like good enough. It's still real, like even like the hype moments, the lights, the action, the animation, like
it's not unwatchable. You're right. It's not unwatchable, but the better version exists. That's the bothers me.
It's just out there.
It's out there. It's out there, and they're denying me. But that's all I'll say. Visuals is definitely it's a 5 for me. I will memory hold the 4th episode and pretend that does not count against anything.
Now it adds more, it adds more to the story. Episode 4 forever.
I mean, it could have been worse. They could have PNG locked it.
They could have.
They could have. It stayed animated. They definitely animated it.
It could look like House Husband.
What's your square, Beto?
I give it a 5.
All right.
For spectacular visual appealings.
5s across the board. And now this is the part I really want to get into.
Wait a minute. I haven't voted.
Oh, you have not voted yet, huh?
Gasp.
I understand the rationale, right? Like different director, et cetera. But any blemish means that the clothing is no longer perfect. Any blemish means that the clothing is no longer perfect. I'm not gonna dock it super heavy because the other 14 episodes were quite good. Specifically towards the end, the animation started to get a little bananas there. But there are some series I've watched that don't have a blemish. The animation is flawless throughout. So I'm gonna give it a 4.5. Maybe a 4.5 for the animation. Very good for most of it. And to be candid, I actually watched the half that I watched on dub. I did watch on Crunchyroll, official anime partner of Bait. No, I'm just kidding.
Never.
We are not officially partnered with Crunchyroll, and this is not a sponsored video.
Yeah.
However, I did watch one half of the program on there in dubbed form, and it wasn't as good as what I was watching it on originally in its subbed form. But the thing that I was watching it on started to have some technical challenges, and instead of dealing with the challenges, I was just like, easier route, lower quality, I'll eat it. But that's also a blemish, although I won't dock it towards the show itself, that they haven't released upscaled versions through official resources. I think if I'm a casual anime fan listening to Peak of Fiction and I feel like Bates' opinions are really, really good and I decide I want to go check the show out, I'm not going super hard to try to find an external source.
Yeah.
I like anime. I watch it on official links. I watch it on official websites, and the experience isn't as good as it should be in those spaces. I won't dock it for that, but 4.5 is my official ranking for the art.
Okay. All right. I hear you.
Sounds fair.
All right. Moving on to a category I think I really want to dive into is the characters. And I think the characters in Gurren Lagann are fantastic. And I specifically want to spend time talking about Simone and Kamina, which I think are excellent characters. And each of them bring like their own strengths and weaknesses to Gurren Lagann. I would say specifically the dynamic of Kamina, who is kind of like he sets up Simone to succeed, right? He engineers the circumstances for Simone to be like this ultimate leader that he is by the end of the 15 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And in a way, and I know a lot of they're not, I don't know if a lot of people, but there's definitely a contingent of people back in the day, right, who dropped the show when Kamina died, right? Because they didn't like Simone, they couldn't ride with Simone, and I feel like, well, you missed out, right? It is that meme of the guy, who's the pickaxe, and right behind like the wall of diamonds you just gave up. Because in my opinion, what makes him so good is Kamina could never be Simone, right? It's not the other way. Like, it's like, I think from Simone's perspective, and I would say the perspective of the people watching the show and the characters in the show was that Simone can't be Kamina. But in reality, it's the other way around. Kamina could not be Simone. He doesn't have that the tactical mind of Simone. He doesn't really have the same drive and inner strength that Simone has. And Kamina knows that. He knows that the entire time. He always knew that Simone was going to be someone who surpassed him and was going to be his better. And I think it's really brought out when that moment when, after Simone has had his character arc and he's been so down and out and they're all in the prison and we're kind of relating a story about how when Kamina said, like, when they were in the tunnel, right, and they were trapped in the tunnel, Simone never stopped drilling, right? He never gave up. And you have that bit where everyone is like, we can't get out, it's over, whatever. And Simone's just in the corner with his little core drill, right, making a hole. And he doesn't stop. And I think that's just like, that's who he is, right? He has that extra oomph to him that Kamina lacks. And, in a way, Kamina almost had to die so Simon could be the ultimate leader that he became.
Yeah.
And I think that's like a very incredible dynamic to the show. And it's something I really appreciate, especially on this, like, as extra view memory, looking at it critically.
Mhm.
It's super unique, and not many things else are really kind of pulling that.
Yeah, no, I feel you. The bond between Simone and Kamina is a really great thing to watch, because you could really feel that brotherly bond that they got, and Kamina being like the big tough guy, he gives Simone the self-confidence to keep on moving forward, to keep on to that even after his death. When he was down, uh his, without Kamina, Simon wouldn't be able to reach like you said, he wouldn't be able to reach to the heights that he got to. uh and it's really, I think a whole Simon's whole thing with how his whole thing is using the drill to like move forward, to push himself through. I think that really fits with that is really a good weapon slash skill for his type of like personality, because it really is like, because the drill is always pushing forward, through the rubble, through whatever, no matter what the resistance is, it'll always keep pushing forward. And that drill really symbolizes Simon, because no matter what it comes his way, he's just gonna keep pushing forward, you know. So yeah, I agree. Those two are definitely the best parts of the show, and everyone else too. I enjoy Yoko, as a part of their little trio. They meet a couple cool side characters along the way. Keaton and the Black sisters, Keaton and the Black siblings, right? Keaton and the Blacks, one might say. But
Keaton and the Blacks.
Well,
they're cool.
sure, yeah.
You're talking
Reese,
about Rosu?
yeah, Rosu. He's
Yeah.
pretty cool. He's all right. Yeah, he definitely gets more things to do in the future.
Yeah.
And there's someone else. Oh yeah, Nia.
Yeah.
Nia to be the person where like when Siba was down, when Siba felt like he was at his bottom, be the person to like push him up and keep him pushed up. That's great. That's great.
I think you're forgetting someone. Okay, I think you're forgetting the GOAT. My boy Ron.
The chef, Ron. Oh, the mouse.
No, the mechanic. Don't tell
Oh
me.
yeah.
Ron, bro. Ron's goated. Okay,
Ron's cool.
Ron is cool, man. Ron does make everything work. And I have a question to ask: Is Ron an offensive stereotype or no? I don't know how people feel about Ron. I don't know what the temperature is on Ron.
He's a 2010 stereotype. It depends how you view it. I'll say
I don't know.
I would say there's an uncharitable read of Ron, and there's a charitable read of Ron. Okay.
Yeah.
The uncharitable read, right, is he's an offensive gay stereotype that is like leering at like young men, right, and is like, oh well, yeah, I'm gonna go after these boys. But the charitable reading, which I choose to believe, is he's joking. Right.
Yeah, no, I think
that's
how I always
I don't believe Ron's ever serious. I think he knows how people perceive him, and he's playing off of that. But
yeah.
I don't believe Ron ever means what he says. He's just doing that because he knows like he'll get a reaction out of people. And more power to him. Ron is goated.
Ron is cool. Ron's cool for sure.
For characters, yeah, are you good? For characters, for me, I think I'd give it a 4.5. They're all great characters. I think it's because I haven't finished the whole series yet, so that can change. But each character has has something to give for the series, and I've noticed that some of these characters, they're just secondary, and then when it comes, I did see some episodes past episode 15, and they also have their spotlight, but it's not right now because the story as of right now is focusing on Simone, Kamina, Yoko, and the people who joined Team Gurren Lagann at the very beginning, and everyone is ecstatic, electric, and very the other word could be, but it's more like stretchy. It's based off even on the animation, but every character is very unique and um someone that you can probably relate to, or probably just uh see yourself there as these characters, um and can be really inspired by them. So it's a really great cast of characters that uh from this anime.
Okay, all right. Gray, what's your take?
So, I I mentioned this in my like brief overview, but I did genuinely enjoy how all of the characters, excuse me, how all of the characters were very unique. Um, it's been, I don't want to beat a dead horse, so to speak, but I did really enjoy the dynamic between Simon and Kamina, um, and how Simon's character developed as the story progressed. I especially liked how realistic they portrayed grief from both Shimon's side and the side of other people who essentially didn't take it as hard because they didn't have as close of a relationship as Shimon had with Kamina. Um, I think they also scaled in a really interesting way. I think what they did with the bond between Yoko and Kamina and Yoko and Shimon was very interesting because there was a certain connection that Yoko had with Shimon throughout the story of like, this is Kamina's sidekick and he's got potential, but I adore him. He's cute.
Mm-hmm.
He's nice, right? He's a nice guy. And um, I like having him around, but he's not the person I'm attracted to. But for Simon, that was very different. I love a good love triangle. And I think Gurren Lagann played that role really well and then murdered one corner of the triangle. And then there were after effects of that, right? The other two people in that equation were left to deal with the reverberating effects of that tragedy. Um, I thought the other characters, the supporting cast, were not bland. They were very interesting. Even like the rival Beastman, what's his name again?
Viral.
Pyro.
Yes, Vero, yes. Um, Such an interesting character for a variety of reasons. A Beastman of honor, which we did not see a ton of from any other Beastman pretty much in the entire series. He was very unique in that way. Almost like samurai level of like, I follow a code. And
I got an additional. I want you to continue. I do have an additional lore writ on VRL, but keep going.
okay. The fact that we have writing so intricate that we're getting emotional bonds with characters, we're seeing elements of rivalries, of villains, and everyone has their own motivations and the things that they're shooting for. I honestly was genuinely impressed. The characters, for me, were one of the bigger standouts of Gurren Lagann. I'm gonna give it a 5.
Yeah, and I would say the one thing with the side characters is there's a lot of characters on the sidelines who are kind of like one dimensional, but like in a good way. Um, as in they add flavor to the story, right? Just a little bit because they could be completely generic, but because they're just kind of one dimensional guys, you go, oh yeah, it's those guys, like the big burly twins, right? Who run around and like do everything in pairs, or I think that one guy who looks like kind of like a monkey, uh, with the
The chef guy?
glasses. No,
Wait.
not the chef
No,
guy,
no.
but the guy who always wants to blow stuff up.
Oh, yeah.
And every chance he gets, he's always like hitting the button and whatnot to like fire the cannons. Like that guy is great. Like and that could be like a nothing thing, but the fact that they have a guy who's just doing that. The chef, like Gramps.
Yeah.
I don't know what Gramps' deal is. And if he has a further deal in the future, I forget.
The lore goes deep.
But he's just there, and he shows up in different key spots, and then like he kind of like as quickly as he appears, he leaves. And he's great. Gramps is great. The little kids that are there are also pretty good characters, and they all kind of like add to the flavor. And even like most of them get like mechs, right?
Yeah.
And their little mech designs are great, like the monkey mech, or like the gun one, or the twins have like the two-headed one, or like even Catan has his mech. Like, Catan's great. He is like like another kind of rival to Kamina, like in his own way, in his bombastic guy. He's not Kamina, but he's a similar cut.
Archetype.
And he's pretty cool. But on Viral, specifically Gray, which I want to highlight, is on this watch through, I noticed that Viral's mech, right, his gunman, is the second one he has is called Renkaidu, right? And that like perked my ears up. And I'm not gonna talk about anything from the future episodes, right? But Enkidu is a name that comes from the Epic of Gilgamesh, right? And in the Epic of Gilgamesh, Enkidu was the hero of the story, his rival. And he was a beast man, specifically. He was a beast man that was Gilgamesh's rival, and they started off as enemies, right? Because Enkidu was created to fight Gilgamesh. And they were rivals, but then became friends, right? They became very close friends, and at some point, when Enkidu died, Gilgamesh went on a quest, right, to find the secret to immortality, to bring Enkidu back to life. And I find it very interesting, right, just from the details we have Viral, who kind of he's a beast man, right? like Enkidu, created to fight the humans, right? It was rival to Kamina, who would be the Gilgamesh figure in this. But the Gilgamesh died in this case, and Enkidu is the one that lived. And at the part of the story Enkidu has been given immortality by the Spiral King, right? So he can be like a record keeper, right, in the future. So I like that's just a small detail, but I really like how they incorporated bits and pieces from the Epic of Gilgamesh into Gurren Lagann. And that's something I did not realize before, but like on this watch through, I was like, damn, they really put that in. They really put that in the anime. And for no real reason. They didn't have to. This is completely, but like, you know what? Let's go reference the Epic of Gilgamesh. And you know what? Good for them.
They were really inspired.
Yeah. Yeah, you got all the hidden lore aspects to shows like this. Do you know if Gurren Lagann means anything?
I do not. I know like Tang and Tapa is heaven topping, which will I guess make more sense later on. But Gurren Lagann, I think those I'm not sure. I'll do research. I'll get back to you next week. But we'll see. But yeah, for me, characters are easily like a 5. They're great. And they're gonna go places. Has everyone given their score?
Have I given a score? I gave it a 4.5.
4.5.
I give it a 5.
Yeah,
for characters.
4.5. Okay. All right, moving on to our next category: writing and dialogue. I think this is another place where it shines, for sure. I will say that there is a bit of I guess what's the word, meandering. I don't know,
Monster of the
because
day.
monster of the day element to it. And I think part of Gurren Lagann is it's having its cake and eating it, where it's both a completely like serialized, as in like one episode connects to the last, but it's also trying to kind of have like monster of the week and also have different fun like anime stuff in between.
Mm-hmm.
And not, I don't think all of it necessarily works. Like when they go to the bathhouse episode, or and I know it's not supposed to be super serious all the time, right? Some of the stuff is a little bit it's a little bit nonsensical. Okay.
Doing a bit much.
The beach episode is extremely and I don't know, do animes do beach episodes anymore?
I'm not sure actually. I
I
don't believe
haven't
so.
seen a ton of modern anime that do it, but a lot of the modern anime that I've been watching,
Does Jujutsu Kaisen
Yeah.
have a beach episode?
Nah,
does Jujutsu Kaisen have a beach episode?
but they got a baseball episode.
They do have a
They
baseball
have a
episode.
baseball episode.
They have
Okay,
a baseball episode. Oh my
Yes.
gosh! I need to watch the
They
show
do.
now.
American
baseball.
baseball.
Yeah, baseball episodes are great.
Quite good.
Yeah, that's a classic staple, is a baseball episode or beach episode. But yeah, the beach episode is a little nonsensical, but it's still fun. And I would say episodes, there's a lot of strong writing in the series, right? As we talked about, a lot of strong writing with different characters, with Simon, with Kamina, with Yoko, the main plot with Nia. But not every episode is as strong as like the important stuff. They're all important, like they all add to the narrative, but some of them are kind of like wacky, like let's get point A to point B kind of things that aren't really strung together with the tightest logical framework.
Yeah.
No, I feel you. Like that monster of the day formula they were using with in this case with the Beastman of the day. It is pretty noticeable, but I think what I think this show does really well is that even with those episodes, usually there is something important going on. We've talked about like episode 4 and how that episode is dealing with like a meatball or furball looking beast man. But it could be, if you were watching this like out of a vacuum, it would at face value you'd be like, okay, let me skip this. But they do drop like some important things about how Gurren Lagann
That's true.
combined that episode.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like I think that's how I think it does. The show does a good balance of doing the weekly monster of the day type thing, mixed with the actual like important plot or important information for the viewers. So I don't mind it as much, but yeah, there's and also with a recap beach house episode, with a recap episode, I would
Okay, so apparently, that's a censored version of the episode.
Oh, really?
Yes, the bathhouse episode is censored, and that's
Oh.
why part of it is a recap clip show.
Yeah.
But but I would say yeah, the writing's very solid in my opinion, and there's becomes character writing, the way the plot moves forward, and the way they reveal details, I think, to you, slowly but surely, how they kind of unwind, and we're kind of left with the idea of like spiral power, right? And that's going to be developed later on. But I think the way they like end the show too, well, not end the show, but end that section of the show, is really cool, because it gives you a lot, but also it leaves like a good like little hook, for you to come back. But for me, it's like I would say it's like a 4.5, because I do have a couple of quibbles with the writing.
Yeah, I'll also give it a 4.5. Just because you're right. Sometimes the pacing does feel a bit off. Because sometimes it just doesn't go. like I didn't mention, like, the Monster of the Day episodes, and they mix with important information. I think that stuff is cool. But there's just other times where it's just like some episodes just feel a bit low down. Not every episode, but just a couple of them are just like the bathhouse, and the beach episode. But other than that, I give it a 4.5. Plus, I think the dialogue's really, really stellar in this as well. Kamina had a lot of good one-liners. Let's see you grit those teeth. That's fire. But yeah, I mess with it. I'll give it 4.5.
Beto?
For me, I would actually give it a 5. Albeit it's the writing here is I think it's very unique to what the anime is, because of how much comedy, the style of the anime is.
It's over the top.
It's very over the top, and I think it like blends well with even the writing, that it just becomes over the top as well. Like, it was all on purpose. Like, no one was when it comes to serious situations, it's serious. When it comes to comedy, it's comedy. When it comes to just a blend of all those things together, it works so well that I think it's like a really well done usage of writing and understanding which parts is necessary to be in, and what is actually a necessary portion to communicate what this anime is.
It's your floor, Gray.
All right. I mentioned earlier, like, a good plot twist, and that's the work of the writer, right? Let me build these characters in a certain way where you build these emotional bonds. You think you know where the story is going, and then you have a pivot. I also enjoyed the dialogue quite a bit. I don't think there was a point. There were a few points that felt like wastes of space, kind of, but not like extremely critical waste of space. Like you mentioned the bathhouse episode. It's fan service episode, like by far, right? And is fan service needed for a plot where a girl is quite literally in a bra and short shorts for the majority of the series? I don't know if we need more fan service. I think we may have had enough. Like, because when they introduced her character, when they introduced Yoko to the story, I was just like, oh my, all right, guys. Is this Fire Force Part 2? Like, what are we doing here? What's happening? What are y'all cooking up here? But Yoko ended up being more than just, I'm here for fan service. Then, ironically enough, I did enjoy the beach episode, because the beach episode was designed to do it. It was a plot device, which was, let's play into the things that makes Yoko insecure, because she's used to being the center of attention. And we have another character that is grabbing that attention without showing a bunch of skin, and without being super revealing, without relying on her on driving sexual desires to attract attention. She's the fun girl. She's just fun. She's got lighthearted vibes. She's good energy. And like, it just, everyone's gravitated to her. They're like, whoa, she's awesome. And I did like that they used that episode to build Yoko as a character and to give her more sides to who she is. So that was not a waste. There were some moments that did feel wasted when it came to the writing. Not a ton, but a couple. And I also felt that way about some of the dialogue. Ron's comedic devices were okay, but they kind of leaned a little heavy into, he's a creepy man, and he
Ron
plays
means
into
no harm. Okay?
Yeah, but like,
I'm a Ron defender.
They made it uncomfortable, like by design. They wrote it that way on purpose. They built this character that way on purpose. And I could say it's for comedic relief. I could say he's joking, but like at a certain stage, I was just like, I don't know, guys. It's a little, it's a little like, stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
This group of people are meant to make you feel uncomfortable, and we're going to just push this envelope a little harder, which I think is another part of the writing. Because of that, I give it a double dock. I'm bringing it down to a 4.
Okay.
I thought the parts that were well written were very well written.
Yeah.
I love the Spiral King's introduction. I love them kind of crafting this character as this person made Beastmen, and he understands humans at an extremely deep level, and he has the ability to grant Beastmen additional abilities. And like what is this guy's power level? It's insane what he's capable of. And I loved how they kind of kept doing this thing where things that you didn't think were Beastmen ended up being either mechs or Beastmen using mechs. And he was like, okay, this is pretty cool. I did like a lot of the design choices and the thought process behind some of the writing, but some of it fell wasted. And enough of it fell wasted for me to dock it a full point.
Fair.
Fair.
Everyone's got their score, right? All right. Moving on to the X Factor. What makes it unique? And I think this is an easy 5. It's a standout in the mecha genre. Mecha is, I think mecha goes like 2 kind of directions, right? Now this is a broad generalization alert. Broad generalization alert. Mecha, I feel like mecha goes in like the kind of like hard sci-fi, kind of like super mechanical, kind of like Gundam route, right? Person pilot kind of bit, or it goes more like fantastical and spiritual, like the Evangelion route, right? And Gurren Lagann's definitely going in there, but whereas an Evangelion is this kind of deconstruction of the genre, right? And this very kind of like somber, kind of almost depressing story, right? With expectations and, teenage angst and whatnot. Gurren Lagann is almost like the reconstruction where it's kind of countering that and making its own thing where the mechs, and I guess for a lot of things, the mechs are the extension of a person's soul, right, in a way. And it's almost like the logic of a mech and how that works does not matter in the show, right? Technically you're in a big robot and maybe rules or whatever, but because of the nature of how the Gurren Lagann works, there are no real rules, right?
Yeah.
When Lagann jumps on something, right, and takes it over, not only is it take it over, it does a complete like paint job, decal, and like everything like instantaneously.
Right.
When something gets incorporated into his design, it completely like flips over, change it. Like again, that's just part of like how it goes, and it's such a unique take on the mecha genre, which I don't think it's been replicated, and I think it hasn't been replicated because, like, why would you try? Why would you give it another go? Because you'd just be copying, right? And it's so like bombastic and bold, and does like, so many unique things for the genre, which is where I want to pause right now.
People have been telling me to watch Gurren Lagann for a while. I'm just gonna before I even say anything, people have been telling me to watch the show for a while, and I've started it like 3 or 4 times. I made it like 2 or 3 episodes in, and I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I will say the X factor in this show is how heavily the main character leans into shonen tropes. Like Naruto continues saying, I'm gonna become the Hokage, believe it, right? Like you're like, oh, it's like a corny line that's supposed to be like self-motivating. Okay, cool. And a lot of shonen characters, main characters specifically, lean into that trope a little bit, right? Of like cheesy lines designed to like instill confidence in themselves or to like give themselves a bit of external motivation. And Kamina, as a main character, because he is one of the main characters for quite some time in the story, he does something very interesting where he leans in extremely heavily to that trope, and then pretty early on we discover that this behavior from him is a shift, because when he was younger and his father said, "Do you want to join me in the outside world?" he wasn't ready and he backed off. And so we see a little bit of the inner Kamina, who is, for lack of a better phrase, scared and nervous and unsure. But his bigger personality overwhelms that timidness.
Mm-hmm.
And Simon is almost the polar opposite, right? Where like his external is very timid and shy and reserved, but deep down, Simon has an insane amount of courage and confidence and believes in Kamina, which is why Kamina has to continue to convince him, you don't have to believe in just yourself. You can believe in the me who believes in you, right? He keeps giving him these different ways of thinking about things to eventually get to a point where Simon starts to be aware of his own strength. I have not seen a trope like this or a flow like this from characters in anything else. I could be wrong in this, but I've never seen two main characters where one character spends a pretty healthy majority of his storyline attempting to allow the other main character to realize his own self-worth. It's a rare thing.
Yeah, it's
right?
almost like Carmen is prepping Simone to be like the main character.
Yes, that's exactly it, right? And it's almost like Kamina acknowledges that he was never meant to be the main character, which is extremely interesting because it seems early on in the story that the whole world centers around Kamina. But Kamina is like, it's not going to be me.
Yeah.
It's gonna be you, Simon.
Right.
Even when Simon's like, I don't know if I can do this, big bro. Like it's kind of a tough undertaking. He's like, I don't want to take your mech. He's like, you found it. This is yours.
Yeah.
He's like, you do it. You break us out of here. You drill through the ceiling. You got it. He keeps like pushing things on Simon, and Simon feels like it's going to be too heavy. And when other people observe this dynamic, they're like, it seems like it's going to be too heavy for him. But Simon carries it until he realizes that he was always strong enough all along. He always had the strength. I'm not going to deny it. I was blown away when we finally see Simon display self-confidence. It takes a while. To get to that point in the story. But the payoff is huge because Simon has been looking to Kamina to make him feel confident. And then Kamina is gone. And he feels like his self-worth has hit negative numbers. And then he realizes who he is. And it's exceptional. I'm blown away by the X factor in this story. I have to give it a 5. I understand now so many people have told me to watch the series. It takes a while to get to that moment. I think that's the challenge, is sticking with it. But if you do, the payoff is quite nice.
And also, it hasn't even gotten that crazy.
Yeah, I get.
It hasn't even gotten that crazy. We'll get to that next time. All right. Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it a bit short. I think you guys mentioned it, perfectly, with the dynamic between Simone and how him. Granted, it just like how Grace says, how Kamina is like the main character, and like if you didn't look at the poster, and you didn't see the first minute of the show, and you didn't even see Simone like dig the first 5 minutes of that episode, and the episode starts on Kamina, you'd probably think he was the main character.
I mean, well, the first minute of the show, the prologue, right?
Yeah,
we don't know who that guy is. We don't know who that guy is.
I think it's kind of evident.
What I'm saying is, we know it's not Kamina now.
Yeah,
but he had goggles, didn't he? The guy had goggles on.
Yeah, but from the first glance, right? From the first glance, I guess when you're first watching the show, you might think, "Oh, that guy, that's Kamina," right? In the future, but you find it's not coming out, right? And that's gonna be Simone, in that space battle.
But yeah, I think compared to like the other mech episodes, and I haven't seen a whole lot, admittedly, but on this kind of scale, it's definitely it. Feel pressed to put it like behind that this is like isn't one of the best mech shows I've ever seen on scene. This they execute it really well. The mech designs are really really good. And even how Gurren Lagann like operates, where he literally just keeps combining with bigger and bigger and bigger machines. Uh, I really like that whole dynamic, and I don't know if think about it. I don't know if it's reference to Gurren Lagann, or maybe Gurren Lagann is based off of like something else, and these shows are basing it off of whatever Gurren Lagann is basing it off of. But there'll be like certain like anime every time, not every time, but like sometimes when like a Western show has like their like anime episode, they'll be referencing like a bunch of like giant robots having to like combine and get become bigger giant robots. Off the top of my head, right, there's like this episode from like a regular show with the baby ducks and, and like they have like their mech, and their mech is getting like bigger because they're fighting a bigger mech, and because
Yeah.
that mech could buy like the moon. It's just like
Yeah,
I think
the
that
baby.
like
I would say, yeah, the Baby Ducks episode is half Gurren Lagann, half Evangelion, a
okay
little bit. Or
okay
no, I'll say the opening. They have an OP for the episode, and the OP is Evangelion, but the actual Baby Duck thing is like Gurren Lagann. But yeah,
but yeah, you can see
I
like
would say,
it's toes dipped into all these references. You know what I mean?
and I also say Gurren Lagann also wears its influences like kind of like on its sleeve. I mean, one of the most iconic moments you talked about, Communist Death, is it's a direct reference to Ashita no
Ashido,
Joe.
yeah,
Yeah,
caught that.
Ashita no Joe. And then, of course, I saw Gurren Lagann first. I didn't know that. But it is a very incredible, touching moment that is a reference, when he's in that pose, and he's like, like, bye,
Yeah.
buddy. That is, the ending of Ashita no Joe, which is crazy, to do that.
Yeah, I didn't realize that I was rewatching. I'm like, oh, is that an Cheeto no Joe reference? But
And
yeah,
I
no,
also, I'd say, I love the actually no, I'll say it for next time. I'll say it for next time. I'll have a hype and aura. But yeah.
yeah, I give it a 5.
All right, Beto.
5 out of me. I think everyone has said exactly what I was thinking, especially from Gray when he said that it took a while just to get into the show, and when it gets going, it gets going. So this is a really unique show. I give it a 5.
Mm-hmm. All right, and our last but definitely not least category, hype and aura. All right, and I think this is another easy 5 pickup.
5.
For Gurren Lagann. The hype's off the charts, man. It's and the aura and different poses. I would say specifically what I want to bring up in the last segment was whenever they do the Giga Drill Breaker, and he pulls out things out the back, throws them, hooks the guy up, and they goes into that frame, and he powers through him. Incredible, and he's even better because in the last fight with Spiral King was Angon. They have that moment where he starts to do the Giga Drill Breaker on him, and he has him tied up, and he's gonna drill through him, and he catches it, and then they do a cool animation because whenever you do the Giga Drill Breaker, they put him on this like space kind of background, and he like tears apart the backgrounds. Like as he breaks out of the thing, he just rips apart like the space background. It's just like, nah, bro, that's not gonna work on me. And there's like some really great moments like that, especially with the animation and the way they play around it. They always will have like birds for like perspective in as many shots as they can. And again, this was even crazier in like later stuff. But they do different things and different animation. So many fun bits. When Kamina first fights Viral and he's like unsheathing the sword.
Yes,
it just keeps going
Go.
for like 30 seconds. He just keeps pulling out that sword for like longer and longer and longer. so many great hype moments in Gurren Lagann. So yeah, it's a 5 for me.
Yeah, like it's a 5. Let's go home, guys. Let's wrap it up. All right. But yeah, there's a lot of good scenes in just this part alone, and it gets even more crazier in the future from what I remember. But now I'm blanking. But but I especially love whenever when that fight, Kamina's last stand fight was pretty good. There's a lot of like I mentioned in the writing dialogue before, but the line where it's like where Simon's like going through it and he's kind of like in his head, because he's not focused, and Kamina's like he jumps on his mech and he's like, I want to see you grip those teeth, and he punches him, stabbing him back. that was really dope. Along with like the line that he follows, where he's like, "Don't believe, don't believe in me. Believe in the me that believes in you."
And at the end, he's like, "Don't even do that. Just believe in the Simone that believes in you."
Yes.
Is yeah.
Like it was really good. It's a real cinema, and it helps that the soundtrack accompanies a lot of these moments. Like the soundtrack's really good. It really gets you pumped up, especially when they're like mid fight. But yeah, I give it a 5 on the hype, because this is a show that will keep giving you hype.
It's all hype.
Yeah, it's all hype. It's all hype.
It's all hype.
Even when like even when like it explodes something, someone would just pose right after, and it just be like, okay, who you doing this for? It's just you here. There are no hugs in a 60-degree radius.
It won't work. Right? The power won't work unless you got to bring your energy.
All right. Yep. So let's talk about it. Let's break it down. I think Supa's original statement of "let's wrap it up, guys." This show's all hype. I it's kind of funny, but after you've watched the first 15 episodes of Gurren Lagann, you'll find yourself agreeing with our takes, especially on that category specifically. I would almost go so far as to say it's not debatable unless speeches don't excite you.
Yeah.
If speeches don't excite you, you might rate it lower. But the dialogue drives the hype. There are some really cool fights, big explosions. There's cool stuff, but Kamina's energy becomes infectious to the point where other characters get hype moments based off his hype moments. Like the scene where the humans have essentially decided that they will also take mechs for themselves. I was going to take gunmen for themselves. And they're like, Kamina, you inspired all these people to do this. He's just like, yeah, like, I'm the man. Like, you're just like, oh, this guy's great, man. There's just so many moments where the hype that Kamina has kind of brought into the space bleeds into everyone and everything, and it just generates so many awesome moments throughout the series. There's a few series that I could think of that are on par with this for hype moments, but this actually is like peak hype. I mean, I don't think there's anything higher than a 5. We can rate things at this stage, but like, if it were possible, I almost would say that this is like a especially high.
We're not even at the max yet, brother.
Yeah. I every time you say it, I understand and I hear you. But what you're missing is that this is for someone who's never watched it before.
Yeah.
Never seen it before, who has zero context, right? I'm watching it blind. Never seen it. It's actually genuinely impressive what it becomes. It almost feels like watching someone painting a giant painting, and at first the strokes don't seem to make sense. You're like, why are they doing that with the strokes on the paint? What's this gonna be? And then like as they're starting to build it out, you're like, oh, I see a face. oh, I see people. Oh, I see building. Oh, you start to have these moments of realization. But the artist saw it the whole time, right? Like the artist started this painting in their mind. They knew what it was going to be. You didn't know what it was going to be. You're watching it being painted in real time. That's how it feels watching Gurren Lagann. Like there's just so many things that I don't observe until more things happen, and then it starts to settle in of what I'm actually seeing. It's really good. Incredible hype.
All right. Is that so? We have our scores, right? We can do our final tally for
Yes, sir.
Gurren Lagann. And my score is a 4.9.
Just
4.9 for me as well.
I got 4.8.
4.7 for me.
Okay.
How do you get a 4? Wait, what was your score?
I think he did a 4 on one of the things.
Oh yeah, that might be
a couple things. Yeah.
All
right, but the final score for Gurren Lagann Part 1, right, first 15 episode, is a healthy 4.8. So that is putting it up with Superman 2025, right below Across the Spider-Verse. And we shall see. We shall see if Part 2 carries it over. You know, we're gonna see. We're gonna see. I'm very excited.
So with the score
to do the conclusion.
So with the score from Part 2,
are we gonna average them together?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could. Yeah. I think so. I think we'll do that for the final score. Yeah,
that's fair.
Sounds
right. But,
full scope.
We covered. I think we covered this material pretty well. But before we go, it's time for Hot Take Arena, the weekly segment where we bring our hot takes to the podcast.
We're gonna need a real theme song for that.
Yeah, eventually. All right. Hey, you are a fountain of knowledge and wisdom, and as our eldest podcast member, what's your hot take?
Man, this is an interesting hot take, but so I don't know if it's super hot. It's semi-hot, maybe. We'll see. This is actually a hot take based on the mangas of a very long-running series called Naruto. My hot take is that the Boruto time skip arc, which in manga form is referred to as Two Blue Vortex, is already, it's not even done. It's not done yet.
Okay.
It's already superior to Naruto's Shippuden.
Yeah, okay. Get this nigga out of here.
And this is where it ends. And this is
yeah. Listen, if the take is too hot, stay out the kitchen, boy.
Wow.
And this man prefaced it by saying that the take wasn't even that. Come on, bro. Right.
Stay out the kitchen.
I don't know what I expected, right? I don't know what I expected. So.
Now here's why I say what I say, right? People are, why? What do you mean, right? Like,
why do you say what you say?
I'm not talking about the origin stories. I'm not talking about classic Naruto versus classic Boruto. Not talking about that. Only focusing on time skip storylines. I feel like Shippuden was good. I like Shippuden a lot. I'm not taking nothing from Shippuden. And if I were to rank all 4 storylines, right? You have Naruto, you have Naruto Shippuden, you have Boruto, you have Boruto Two Blue Vortex. Naruto to me is, of those 4, the best. But Two Blue Vortex is actually second best. It's a good runner-up. I think Boruto's on the bottom. The original storyline of Boruto's it struggles. It's trying to do too many things. And I think Naruto Shippuden was good until the end. It kind of suffers from the Game of Thrones syndrome, where you have a really good story, and then for some reason, towards the end of the story, you decide to just do something completely different from what everyone had been expecting you to do. And I know you all did a Game of Thrones episode, so I won't drive.
We did not do a Game of Thrones episode. No, it's just had an insane take.
Yeah, I don't know. But I will say, Shippuden suffers from the same thing Game of Thrones suffers from, where it was good. I was all in. Man, it was really good. You know, we see Sasuke having his story, Naruto having his story. It's supposed to culminate in this big battle and this Madara and all these big moments. And then it's just, we were like, oh, aliens though. Like, what about those? I'm like, all right, guys, we did a little too much too fast. I almost feel like though Boruto's Two Blue Vortex, it adds weight to the thing that felt silly in Shippuden because they give it time to be fleshed out. Which is what Shippuden suffered from. They didn't give it enough time to flesh out what they were trying to do. And if you haven't read it, don't knock it. Read yourself Boruto. Don't bother watching. There's too much going on. Read Boruto, then read Two Blue, and tell me I'm wrong.
I read Two Blue Vortex. You're wrong. Well, no, to be fair. Bro. I haven't seen the last two chapters, but like that's don't get me wrong. I do like what the time skip is doing for Boruto.
You like Shippuden more than Two Blue.
Yeah, bro. It's not, bro. Gun to your head. Name 3 of the tree guys. Of the tree beast.
It'd be the same as Okay. But like it's for me, it's like there's an enormous number of characters in Shippuden as well, right? I can't name all of the villains by name in Akatsuki.
No, but you can say 3.
I can think of the main ones.
You can say 3.
I could think of some of the main ones because they're reoccurring characters that we see very often. But the tree characters, the way that they build the story is not about them per se. They're menacing there in the background. They're menacing there in the background. Listen, man.
So you telling me they got tree guys now?
Oh yeah. I'll be real. It's solid there. It's solid. The fights are good. The abilities are incredible. The jutsus are things we've never seen before. The scale is different. The outfits are super fly. It's good. It's good. It's good. Two Blue is solid. It plays on a premise that we also have not seen in Naruto previously, because of one character's ability, and I don't want to spoil too much. But it flips the series on its head in a really interesting way. And to be honest, the relationship between Boruto and Kawaki, I think is extremely intriguing, especially when you compare it to the relationship between like Naruto and Sasuke, where like they were kind of like headbutting a lot more. Like Boruto and Kawaki definitely have a very unique bond that I don't think I've seen before. It does a lot of interesting things in a really fun way. I personally think it's phenomenal, and that is my hot take.
We gotta move it on.
Okay? Well, hold on. I gotta do my dark side. You're Superman walking off. I gotta like hold you by the cape real quick. No, don't get wrong, right? I get it. You know, I think Boruto as a character himself, even in the time skip, he has a really good upgrade. You know what I mean? And both character, and I'm talking about like his jutsu, which is also pretty cool. He does a lot of stuff. You know, I'm not even gonna like knock him for that. But you're telling me because of like, because what's your biggest issue with Shippuden?
My biggest issue with Shippuden is they try to do too many things too quickly. And an even bigger issue is that they built to a singular villain as the main bad guy, and then like the pivot was nonsensical to me. Like at a certain stage, things stopped adding up. But for a long time in the story, things were adding up, and I enjoyed it. Like I'm not taking anything from Shippuden in totality. I think overall, Shippuden was a very good series for the majority of its time. And then we got to a stage where things started to get bizarre. And then Naruto's Hokage. And hey, sure. Why not? Hey, it's fine. And then they were like, well, we're gonna build on this more. We're gonna talk about his son. We're gonna talk about what the village becomes while he's Hokage. We're gonna try to flesh this out. We're gonna add a bit more context, because that would be a really weird way for us to end the story. That'd be a really weird way for us to end the story. And I'm like, yeah, that would be a really weird way to end the story. That'd be an extremely weird way to end the story. I enjoyed what they attempted a little bit at the beginning of Boruto, but Boruto didn't. He just felt like a brat. He felt like a spoiled brat. He was annoying, and even when he has cool moments, it doesn't feel good. But in his time skip arc, he got trained by Sasuke, and I think Sasuke taught him more than combat. I think there's some other layers to that training. And it's great. It's so good. So good. It's great. I've been in love with it every chapter. Not any chapter to me has felt lackluster.
Yeah, no, it's
even Boruto's sister is with the smoke. Like, it's so tough, bro. It's so tough. I love it. Phenomenal.
It's cool. It's cool. I just, especially because like Boruto is still like what? It's only like how many?
It's early.
Like 60. Yeah, it's still like in its very like early stages.
It's early.
Like, I can't put it over. I can't put it over Tenchi Bridge. I can't put it over the Shikamaru, the Shikamaru versus Hidan and Kakuzu Get Back arc. I can't put it over the Pain arc. The Pain arc alone is still. I can't put it over Sasuke versus Itachi arc. I can't put it over. Like, it's. I mean, maybe down the line, right? Maybe down the line, right? If it keeps cooking.
You say we need more time,
right?
Things to flush out.
But to say it's
fair.
But to say it's better than all included right now, I don't know. That's kind of crazy to me.
Now, I say that because the end left a bad taste in my mouth.
Fair. No, I get it. Kaguya definitely comes up where she's not really needed, and it takes away full focus off of what should have been the main villain, Madara.
I was so frustrated by it because, as you've already mentioned, there were so many things in Shippuden that I thought were exceptional.
Yeah.
There's so many parts of Shippuden that are so well thought out, that are so good, and then they kind of just, like, for lack of a better phrase, they kind of soiled the diaper, and I was just like, come on, guys.
I'm gonna mediate this discussion and say, wow, you both made great points. And who knows who's right and who's wrong. Beto, what's your hot take?
Oh, it's not even okay. My hot take for this evening, afternoon, morning is that you should like more bad movies.
True.
You should watch more bad movies. If you continue watching good movies and you expect movies to be like that, and like if you're like a creative person, like if you want to make art, watch bad movies or bad art, because you can be inspired by the bad art or however that person created it, but it was not well received. You can be inspired and thinking, oh, I can make something more out of that, or I found something that was quite unique but nobody has noticed it, and I can like make things a lot better. And especially if you're like, but if you're not like a creator, like if you're not creating like movies or comic books or your albums or whatever, if you're not an artist or you're just like a moviegoer, watch bad movies. Just watch bad movies. It's not gonna hurt you. It might hurt your wallet, sure, but like
it might hurt your psyche temporarily.
Yeah, but you will be entertained. You'll be fully entertained, and you're going to be fully like immersed in a world where it's like, wow, they had a concept and it went badly. They did it badly. And you can just be very much entertained, because there's studio bad and then there's Tubi movies, and you could be entertained by both of them, whichever way you want it to be. And
if you've only been on the peak, you can't appreciate the mountain.
Right.
Yeah.
I understand that perspective. I think it depends on. There's something to be said for going to a movie that you think will be good, and you haven't researched, you haven't done the Googles, you're just like, oh man, I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan. They're doing a live action. It's got to be good. Evolution, Dragon Ball Evolution, man, I'm pumped. Let's go.
And you know what? That's fun.
You had an experience.
It's fun if you go into it with the mentality of, this is a joke, I'm going to have a good time. Like, I'm going to just enjoy myself. If you go into it with the expectation of, I'm going to see essentially like origin story Goku and teenage age Goku and like all the characters I'm used to from the main anime, and then you get that, it's challenging to look past your disappointment. For example, we and a few of our friends went to view the film Cats.
Incredible movie.
None of us went into the theater thinking, I cannot wait to see peak cinema. Like, none of us had that mentality. Yeah. We were all just like, we're just gonna go have a good time and like laugh at this movie, and like it's gonna be bad, and we're gonna laugh at it. It's gonna be a good time, right? There were parts of Cat I'd never seen the play, but we enjoyed what we saw because we went into it with the mentality of we know this isn't going to be a high quality film. We're just going to have a good time. I think your point stands if you know it will be bad. If you don't know it will be bad, you're expecting a good movie, and it's not, it's no longer fun. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, but I'm saying, well, to defend him, I'll say maybe that's okay too. Not every viewing experience has to be fun.
Yeah, that was
disappointment's still a human emotion that I think you could use.
Yeah, I was disappointed in movies that I myself was like, oh, this could be a good movie, but it wasn't. For example, why am I forgetting this movie? It was a movie that I hyped.
Superman Returns. I'm just playing.
Sorry. Not that too. But this movie that was released by A24 and is directed by Isaiah Saxon, The Legend of Ochi. I was hyping this movie up.
Oh yeah.
To this friend group.
You did.
I saw it, and I was a little bit disappointed because it wasn't that much. It wasn't good of a film, but I enjoyed it because at least I went to the theater and I saw this movie, and it disappointed, but also contributed to know that this guy, that whoever, to the director and to everybody in the cast, they were also supported because I saw the movie, and I'm like, okay, I'm sad that I didn't get the movie that I thought it was going to be made, but also at least I appreciated it and I was there. It's always important just to appreciate the art, no matter how disappointed or your expectations are already met by disappointment or it was successful. No matter what, you saw the movie.
I have a hot take. That I don't think it's that hot. I think it's
we all say this at this point.
I know we all say this, but my hot take is here's my hot take. A lot of adults, right, in our society watch TV shows for children, and that's fine. I'll indulge in my occasional cartoon show for children.
Call them what they are, man.
But and here's the thing: there's no problem. I'm not going to be the guy who says you can't watch. Of course, watch whatever you want. You're grown up. What I'm saying is, if you are above the age, I'm gonna be reasonable too. If you're above the age of 20, right? Whatever happens in a children's cartoon should not affect you that much, right? And I mean, if I don't care if it's based on a property that you're attached to, right? But if you turn into a show that's like Y7 and you're like, that writing wasn't good, they didn't do this or that, I'm going to get upset. It's time to pull back. It's time to pull back and reassess your life. I'm saying this as a preemptive because very soon, right? They're coming up with a new Avatar show. Right, they're coming up with a new Avatar show, Avatar and the Seven Havens, which is going to be catered to a child audience. They have a child main character, right? And to all you Zoomers out there, right,
who've grown up with this show,
who've grown up with Avatar, right, are going to watch this show and are going to tune into a show that is maybe designed for older fans, but also for children, to get a new generation of children into the show. If you don't like it, just don't watch it. Okay. I don't need a 3-hour video essay on why the show for children failed the lore or whatever. I'm sorry. All right, it's what can you do when you're
Call
like,
them what they are?
Because some of it, it's like, I'm sorry, but it's It's for babies, bro.
It's babies.
You
You're
can't
babies.
be that mad about it. You know, sometimes you gotta brush your shoulder off and say, you know what? Hey man, I'm watching a show for children. And that means sometimes the plot lines and the different storylines and stuff are going to be geared towards a child audience and not you, a grown adult. And you have to accept that. And be content, right? And I'm not saying like, oh, that means you have to accept whatever. If you don't like it, say, man, that wasn't all right, that wasn't good, and then move on, you know. But there is a legion of like people on Twitter and people on different sites and grown adults who are like have tied their identity to children's shows and properties and get very upset and heated at any sort of mischaracterization or any sort of bad plotline or any sort of whatever. And it's like, bro,
get over it.
When the show starts in the upper right and the upper left corner, it says Y7. Come on, man. What's going on here?
I mean, I get it, but for certain like franchises though, like here's the thing. Like you brought up Avatar, and I'm like, yeah. and like Avatar itself is a very lore heavy show. You know what I mean? I could get it if it was like they're making a and granted, you know, even if in the case of the new Avatar show not being good, I agree, you know, I don't want to see, I'm not gonna watch no 3-hour documentary on why it failed, right? But at the same time, I'm also like, I would like you to be like accurate to, I would like to see this.
Yeah.
I would like to see more of this world building, the world building of the original show and of Korra, and see how it has led up to this point. And would like to see that being taken care of with some sort of care. If not, then why do it? Why not just reboot the Avatar? Why not just make Avatar: Last Airbender go at that point? You know what I mean? Instead of.
But what I'm saying is, don't be upset when they go on baby adventures because it's a show for babies. That's all I'm saying. Also, okay. why did everyone get so mad at Teen Titans Go? You know, a show for
babies.
A show for babies.
Kids.
Yeah,
it's not great. It's not the right term, but it's also a term to just let the people know. It's not the right term, but it's really if it hits you and you get mad, guess what?
Because you gotta look in the mirror, brother.
You gotta look in the mirror.
Teen Titans Go, while it looks like a small children's show, definitely is for young adults. It's geared towards a young adult audience, right? Like it's not for as Bates so adoringly referred to, babies. But also like sometimes the source material is being disrespected. Yeah. And if you grew up with that source material and you feel a connection to that source material, as a fan of that source material, you might have feelings about how something that you feel passionate about is being treated in the modern era. For example, SpongeBob. Now, I'll speak for myself.
That's the most. Who cares? I haven't watched SpongeBob in years. Okay, I don't care about modern SpongeBob. It's not for me anymore.
Hear me out. SpongeBob, OG SpongeBob, had writing so good.
Oh yeah, I know
that it could be watched by a range of ages. Adults could enjoy it. Teenagers could enjoy it. Kids could enjoy it. Although that wide range of people would enjoy it for different reasons, right? And then I think of a show like Ren and Stimpy, right? Which is definitely not geared towards children or babies.
Yeah.
It's actually really meant, it's kind of adult animation where they were like, wow, we want to put it on TV, so let's see if we can make it a little less adult. And like, let's say it's young adult animation, right? They essentially turned SpongeBob into Ren and Stimpy in its modern era. Which is like, how did we end up with like gore in SpongeBob?
That's funny.
Cartoon
gore. I didn't know this. That's hilarious.
Like, this is crazy. But as a fan of SpongeBob, I might not go on a video rant about it. But I definitely like, I've seen clips on the internet and I'm just like, I can't even, what happened? This is crazy. Like, there's no way. And as somebody that is a fan of the original series, has kids, like at the age to have children, you got your little ones, you watching TV, you're like, oh yeah, it's SpongeBob. I grew up with this show. It's probably smooth. Let's watch it together. And then something horrifying pops up on the screen. You're like, oh shoot, my bad. This is not what I thought it was. You have a right as a parent or as an adult to feel some type of way about how something that you grew up with is being mishandled.
Okay. I hear you. That is my take. So
I respect your take, but
all right.
Those are my
Last
thoughts.
take. Super. You had such a great take last time. I look forward to your take this time.
Honestly, the take I had probably shouldn't even have been reserved for last because it's very niche. This one's a bit niche. All right, so there's this show called Weak Hero season. Weak Hero, just Weak Hero. Currently, you can watch it on Netflix. Season 1 is really great. I want to preface this by saying this show is based off of a manhwa by the same name, Weak Hero, and I read that manga, loved that manhwa. Season 2 of Weak Hero is not good. It is so disappointing. And I know this is gonna and it's only for the people who've seen the show or is into K-dramas, bruh. Like that season is butt. And here's the thing: if you haven't read the manhwa, I could see you watching that show. I see the average person watching that show and be like, "This is decent. Wow, this is a pretty good show." But as someone who has read it, it's a real like, what did they do to my book? like there are characters that look how they massacred my son, bro. Like there are characters they cut out, like the main squad of characters in a book. Half of them are gone, and it'd be like watching One Piece and they cut out Sanji from the main 5. Like that's how important these characters are. And they just cut them out. They Loki kind of do their own. They rush so many like plot points within the book. They cut out like very key moments with Gray and how he gets like his get back with like a lot of like the bullies and delinquents and gangs in the school. Like this is really good beatdown in the book in the manga where like there's this bully. There's a lot of bullies in the story, but there's this one specific bully who he was just messing with Gray. And Gray was just like, okay, can you mess with me? Bet. Man's pulled up the next day with like a pillowcase or a sack filled with nothing but like Coca-Cola cans. And the way that Gray fights, he's like a Batman with it, bro. He like has prep time. Like he everything in his like vicinity, which is also pretty lacking in the show. Which is also I feel like they don't do enough of it in the show. But like anything in his vicinity, like he uses to his advantage, and when he gets his opponents down to like his level, because he's quote unquote a weak hero, he just goes ham, bro. So he takes these soda cans, he just bash this man. He just some real like it's crazy. It's crazy, and like that's just not. And stuff like that just isn't in the series in that season. And there's a big bad in the manhwa whose name is Donald Na. And in the manhwa, he's just so saucy. He's so saucy. He's also coolly designed. He has these tattoos on his hand. He's pretty much like the boss of like all these gangs across their district in Korea. But in the show, he is so butt, bro. He can't fight as well as the one in the book. And not only that, what gets me is the most about him is like in the season 1 finale. There's like an after credits scene that teases him. Like they tease him in a way where it's just like he's sitting behind a chair and he puts his head on like the desk and you see the tattoos on his head. And as a reader, I'm like, oh, that's Donald Nah. They're bringing in Donald Nah. And in the season 2, for some reason, they just completely get rid of that. He has no tattoos. But we see the tattoos. What are we like? What are we doing? Like we're supposed to. I didn't even think it was him. I'm like, oh, okay, it's not him. He's not Donald. He's probably some stand-in that they gave him, like some kind of assistant. But no, he's supposed to be Donald, and it's oh, bruh.
I feel your pain. I don't know the details, but I feel your pain. I definitely.
That is frustrating.
Yeah.
Though, when the anime not only doesn't live up to the source material, but diverts so wildly that it feels like a different story.
Yeah. And again, like if you never read the manga, I could see you watching it and be like, "Wow, this is pretty cool. I can't wait for the season 3 that they're coming out with." But as someone who's read it, it's a real like I had a good experience eating a really great sundae. I had everything. I had it's like a foot tall. I had like all the whipped cream. I had like sprinkles on that. I had a cherry on top. I had a couple cherries on top. And I'm looking at the person on my left, and they just have a regular ice cream cone, and they're like, "Man, this is really good." And I'm just like, I mean, that is good, but you have no idea. It could be so much better. Have the sundae.
Have the sundae. Name of the episode.
But yeah, this is all to say. Please read Weak Hero. It's like a top 5 manga. Like,
all right. I like the take.
It's really good.
Really good.
Dang, that's high praise.
Well, gents, I think we have another episode in the books. Next time we will finish Gurren Lagann. We'll do the last 10, 11 episodes. But until then, take care of yourself. Follow us, subscribe on YouTube, do all the stuff, and have a good one.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.
Good morning.
Good morning and goodbye.
See you later. Have a nice lunch.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Sincerely.